Hi, friends. Host Derek here with Talking with Famous People. I'm awake. 7:35 on Memorial Day, 7:35 a.m. I got a good night's sleep last night. Really good night's sleep. Why did I sleep so well last night? Well, Rachel went to a hotel last night. And that really was kind of just what the doctor ordered. Because, see, I don't know. I guess we just needed a night apart, you know? Hi, Immortal Tech 99, Slim Shady. Hi, Emailed Anthrax. Yeah, Rachel and I had a difficult 3 or 4 days there. And she suggested she go to a hotel last night. And I thought, that's a nice idea. Like, that's a good idea. I'm tired of battling, you know? When Rachel's not feeling like herself, then she wants to battle continually. And of course, she's always losing those battles because she's battling me. And that just makes her more negative, you know? So certainly I can guess how annoying that must be. You know, to always wanting to battle against some your significant other, but then constantly losing the battle. Whereas the reason she's constantly losing those battles is because she's wrong. And I'm right. But the thing is, that's not Rachel I'm arguing with, is the other thing. It's Hachel. Hachel and Rachel are different people. Hachel is just sometimes quite awful, frankly. She just spews a bunch of negative, hateful stuff. So, anyhow, it's a great time to get a hotel room, by the way. It's a great time. Rachel got Courtyard by Marriott room for $89 on the day before Memorial Day. That's pretty crazy. Hi, Eileen. So anyway, hopefully this morning when she wakes up, she will have snapped out of this. Hopefully, maybe her period will have started. She's been in premenstrual mode for like 4 or 5 days now. I like hotel rooms sometimes as well. I don't fear finding condoms in the bed, although that would be incredibly disgusting if I did. I am quite yawny this morning. I'm about to pull my first bong rip of the day, which is always a bit of a ceremony. You know, it's an important occasion. So the Courtyard by Marriott isn't very far away. But today we have scheduled a barbecue that we're hosting for Delilah and her boyfriend and my friend Cameron and my dad. And, hopefully Rachel's down for such things. What is the ultimate in grossness? Unless it's unopened, in which case it's still kind of gross. You know what I like to say? Condoms are for promiscuous people. That's what I like to say. I'm not a fan of condoms. Yes, condoms are for promiscuous people. If that gas you're getting up in, is unclean, then you got to wear a condom. But other than that, they're just for promiscuous people. Obviously, birth control is the responsibility of the woman. It's well established. No, it wouldn't save me money or weed in the long run. It is not the case that vapes get you more high. You lose some of the chemicals in the weed. Vaping is stupid. I hate vaping. You need the smoke. The smoke is where the goodness is. Why do you think my lungs are so healthy? Do you think it's from vaping? No, it's from smoking. If you want healthy lungs like me, you need to smoke both weed and cigarettes. Or just weed is fine. If you smoke cigarettes are bad for your lungs. Smoking, I don't like edibles. Smoking weed is good for your lungs. I'm protecting my lungs against cigarette smokes, Van Winden. Well, I agree with that, email anthrax, but birth control is the woman's responsibility. Everybody should agree with that. I don't pay for it, or she doesn't pay for it. We don't actually use any birth control. I just pull out. It's actually my responsibility, I guess, in that sense. It's just a joke. This is not the first relationship that I've just pulled out in. My first relationship ever was the same way, but yeah. Yeah, pull and pray, they call it. That's my birth control strategy. Pull and pray. Lord have mercy. Well, I gotta tell you though, it was really nice with Rachel at the hotel last night. It's like I could get a good night's sleep. Here's the thing, emailed Anthrax. I actually don't ever do that. It's like I think it sounds like a good idea when I'm in the heat of the moment, but then when I'm about to do it, I'm like, no, that's gross. Don't come on her face. I wouldn't want that on my face. Dashant Verk. Hello, multiple hearts. Ah, it's good, Waldo. Waldo understands sex is for procreation, not recreation. Every time Waldo has sex, a child is conceived. That's pretty impressive, Waldo. If you could pull that off in life, every time you had sex, a child was conceived, you'd have a lot of children. Or possibly very little sex. One of the two. How am I? Heart, 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 heart. I'm fine. Heart, 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 heart. No, that's your goal. Okay. Your goal is to produce that many children. And sex magic is like when you come and instead of ejaculate coming out, it's lightning bolts and fireballs, and you're attacking another fighter or a paladin or something with it. Oh, yeah, Kage no fireball jutsu from my penis. And then pew, 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 pew. You know, when I get when I get the chakra of the 6 paths, then I shoot out truth seeker orbs from my penis when I ejaculate. That's the key to the 6 paths chakra. Is if without 6 paths chakra, you never create any truth seeker orbs. But with the 6 paths chakra, it's nothing but truth seeker orbs all the time. So, you know, once I became the sage of the 6 paths, that's when I started ejaculating truth seeker orbs. Believe me, you do not want to touch one of those things. That will suck all your chakra right out of you. Deem the peen brain and attack directly. Rachel's not dishonest. That's the good thing. Rachel may be crazy, but she's not dishonest. And she doesn't have accountability avoidance syndrome. She may have decision avoidance syndrome, but even that I think is not really her. But yeah, I've become sage of the 6 paths. I've got 6 paths chakra now. So you guys can just give up trying to defeat me in battle, basically. It's both defensive and offensive chakra at the same time. So it's like both a shield and a sword. Yeah, it really is hard for an INFJ to be dishonest. The problem is this, that if an INFJ is in a catastrophizing way, then they're going to, well, this is what I think it's very indicative of cognitive functions and of relationships in general. I made a determination that you can clarify what's going on in any relationship, whether it's an actual problem, whether it's a problem one party needs to fix, or whether it's not an actual problem at all, based on frames. So it's like, if Rachel was to say to me, you and I like different things in bed, well, that would be her subjective frame, my subjective frame. That's a genuine problem because we're both using our subjective frames and we're not in agreement. And the subjective frame is the appropriate frame for the question. If Rachel's saying, I'm not good enough for you, Eric, she's using a subjective frame and trying to impose it upon a place where the objective frame is not appropriate. She's trying to use her objective frame and trying to impose it on a place where my subjective frame ought to be predominant. So in that case, it's her bad and she needs to change that behavior. And it's very straightforward. We can do that for all questions, all disputes. If if both parties are in the right frame and there's a disagreement, then that's a real point of dispute and probably not going to be resolvable. But if one party's in the wrong frame, trying to impose objectivity where subjectivity ought to be, or trying to impose their subjectivity where the other person's subjectivity ought to be, or trying to impose subjectivity where objectivity is supposed to be, then that party needs to change their perspective. They need to acknowledge that they're trying to impose the wrong frame. So I've also noted that Rachel, when she's not acting like herself, she's basically acting like an ENFP, which is to say she's doing extroverted intuition, possible way that things could go wrong, and then judging whether those things are true or not based on her feelings. That's not Rachel. that's Rachel in shadow mode or something. I don't know. It's a refusal when if an INFJ goes into a spot where they're no longer using their NI but rather NE and FI. That's not a good place, you know. There's no such thing as sex magic. Sex magic, Ken Christensen Purdue, is very simple. Okay. Sex magic is when a man convinces a woman to have sex with him because of magic. That's sex magic, okay? That is magic. If you successfully get a woman to sleep with you because of magic reasons, you've successfully cast a magic spell on her. Oh, no. I don't want to just stab you with my penis. Magic. You see Ken Christensen for you? You got it all wrong. I'm not just a perv. This is magic. There's a spell going on. I need your nakedness to be a part of it, please. No, trust me. It's going to be so magical. You're going to get this gooey stuff all over your face. The fate of the world lies on this. Ken Christian Sarbergu. If you don't put out, the world's going to end. The fate of the world lies on this. Trust me. Let's get you out of those clothes. So right now I'm just waiting for Rachel to wake up. But probably she'll wake up around 9 o'clock. It's all that intentionality. Okay, well, it's true. There's plenty of stuff I don't know about. The magic of SE, you're right. That's not a magic that's in my wheelhouse. Mine is a magic of words. And this is why it gets me so upset about Rachel when Rachel's being an ENFP, she's basically using man magic instead of woman magic. And she's using it in a bad fashion, you know. Oh, I'll take them lightly, Ken Christian for you. Don't you worry. I'll take them lightly as fuck. It's like, you know, I'm the one who's pushing narratives. If she starts pushing bad narratives, she's being like an ENFP, you know? She's not judging her narratives on TI, she's judging them on FI. So she's being like an ENFP. And ENFP, ENTP battles are pointless exercises in pointlessness because the ENFP is always going to be right and the ENFP is never going to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? Dogs and dogettes. Well, ENFPs are always about how, this black and white thing isn't applicable here. If they're being black and white and still, and just they're being black and white, or at least open about negative stuff, but being mushy about positive stuff. In other words, yeah, budding. Well, then you've got a combination of bad cognition that's just a disastrous clusterfuck of yeah. Because look, the thing is, if you're gonna be a time wizard, you better be an optimist. Otherwise you're gonna make a bunch of bad shit happen. It's like I don't take wizardry lightly at all, Ken Christian Storm for you. I just take stupid kinds of wizardry lightly, like sex magic. That's stupid. It's like you're using a particularist medium. You never use a particularist medium to cast magic. When I trash an FI, people, I'm trashing FI as a deliberative function because it doesn't acknowledge that certain frames need to be appropriate in other things, for certain things. It is not appropriate to use a subjective frame in some areas, and it is appropriate to use a subjective frame in some areas. The problem is, are you able to or willing to change frames with the contextual appropriateness? And that's the thing that happens when somebody attaches to FI and ignores NI and ignores TI, is they cease to engage the thing on the proper frame. Okay, but it can only work on one person, Vandemoinen. It can only work on one person. That's the problem with sex magic. Sex magic uses a particularist medium. Therefore, it can only have particularist impacts. Yeah, but Ken Christian Storm for again, we don't worry about particularist media of magic because they're stupid and waste of time. We worry about universalist ones because they matter. Otherwise, you're just imposing your own will on things. And that's just being stupid. I mean, that's particularist magic. Particularist magic ruins individual relationships or saves them or whatever. Does great things for Joe or Bob or Sue, but it's not universalist, right? So it doesn't have communicative global impacts. And that's okay. I'm not saying that everything must. I'm just saying that's weak ass. Weak sauce fucking magic, If you're into weak sauce magic, or I guess what you'd say is powerful particularist magic, in other words, powerful in the local, but weak in the global, then go for it. No, that's not correct, Waldo. Then you're simply not parsing frames properly. But I'm not into my own interest, manifesting my own interests so much. That's why I'm a meta-analyst, I have more global and communicative kinds of interests and goals. You're probably not an ENFP then, Skygear. Probably an ESFP. I don't have any problem with FI people. I don't have any problem with FI. I have a problem with people applying FI to aspects of reality that need to be addressed through the universalist frame. It's that simple. I mean, Epstein's a perfect example of how he may have fucked up all kinds of individual people, but he didn't change the narrative at all. He was just a scumbag. right? There was absolutely no universalist impact from that. To reinforce the existing universalist memes. It's a perfect example of how Epstein's sex magic is stupid. No, he fucked up a bunch of individual people. He didn't change the narrative about that shit at all. If anything, he just reinforced it. In other words, his kind of magic is self-defeating because it's evil. But even if you were to do that in a good way, which is to say to be, and the only kind of good sex magic is sex magic that occurs in a long-term relationship as people become increasingly trusting of each other. And what that does is it cures the other human being's heart, you know? It heals you. That's the magic of it. If you're talking about other kinds of magic with sex, you're talking about evil stuff. So it's always going to defeat itself in the big frame. Just like Epstein defeats that kind of magic by making it more reprehensible. When people are aware of it, they want punishment. Evil is not subjective, Waldo. No, see, you've got your frames all fucking backwards. Completely fucking backwards. Whether or not something's evil or good is an objective matter. Whether or not it's particularist or universal is an objective matter. If it is particularist, then the content or quality of it is subjective, and that, you're right, is particularist and fully subjective. We can parse this thing out clearly. We don't need bullshit. I mean, that's just some weak-ass time wizardry. I just shot that thesis all to hell, Waldo, and you just ignored it. The fact is, my time magic is much more powerful than yours. That's why your Shades of Grey thesis stands no muster. Because I've explained to you exactly why that's bullshit. It's contextually dependent on which frame you ought to use. There are basically two different vectors here we're talking about, right? Universalist and particularist, and subjective and objective. We can parse it out clearly. I've already explained all that. So that's what I'm talking about. Real powerful magic has truth to it. You haven't pointed out anywhere where my logic is flawed. Not remotely. I point out that evil and good are objective question, certainly in the negative, and whether or not in the positive, then it's a matter of intentionality. It's still an objective question. It just may be comprised of subjective data. Okay, Betamoinen, I'm not opposing the word magic involved in it. I'm pointing out that it's a particularist magic, and therefore fundamentally weaker than anything universalist, at least according to metrics that matter to me. If it matters to you more, your own interests and your impact on specific individuals, then you're right. Then I guess that's what you want to be doing. But if it's not, I've already explained it. I'm not going to repeat myself. I've told you the conditions under which you're correct and the conditions under which I'm correct, and I'm correct about that. So there's no point in further parsing the thing. I'm not even disagreeing with you entirely. I'm saying there are these points in which you are correct and these points in which you are wrong. And you should just trust me because I know better than you do. If you can't follow along with the argumentation, then just trust me. Well, email anthrax, nobody's disputing that. Your logic is the most logically logical logic that I've ever logicked. I never want logic. I'm about to get logic poisoning from your logic. Are we back to bashing on F5 people? No, we're not back to bashing on F5 people. We're back to requiring F5 people to be reasonable like everybody else. That's not trust, Waldo. You're misusing the term. You're equivocating. In that sense, trust means I conclude, basically. You see? Wah, 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 wah. That's why I'm right. Because I can spot shit like that every time. And I don't allow myself to do it. But we do all have our own frame. And sometimes that frame's appropriately applied and sometimes inappropriately. We also have the capacity to learn to shift frames to certain circumstances when appropriate. It wasn't a retort. I get your line of reasoning. Okay, Bainamoinen, maybe I'm just being fighty this morning. Okay? Maybe I'm just being slappy. I don't know why. The best mantras are for bettering the world. Yeah. Like this one. Fuck off, wrong people. That's one of the best mantras that I know for improving the world. Take your wrongness and shove it up your ass. It's another one that is one of the most powerful and important universal mantras I can think of. Oh, you want my foot up your ass is a third one. That's a very good mantra. The fuck. That's a really good mantra. Stop killing everybody with your COVID bullshit. That's a good mantra. Let's see. Here's a good mantra. Kang Kang Krishna Sarmapagu. If I had to come up with some like magic sounding words to mantra about, I'd mantra Kang Kang Krishna Sarmapagu. Those are the magicalest sounding words I can think of. Kang Kang Krishna Sarmapagu. Kang Kang Krishna Sarmapagu. You don't need mantras, you got truth. Fuck yeah. Himanshu, that sounds like a good mantra right there. Himanshu Kalra's got a good mantra. Himanshu Kalra's mantra is, I don't need mantras, I got truth. Mantras, shmantras, that's my mantra. What are you going to say to that, Ken Krishna Sarmapagu? I just fucking laid down the lumber. I just delivered the mantras, shmantras. What are you going to do about that, huh? What you going to do about mantras, shmantras? Now that that's out there on the flow, now that that's been said, can you recover from that? Can you recover from mantras, shmantras? I don't think so. I think this round is over. Woo! Ken Krishna Sarmapagu just got mantra, shmantra. Say no to mantras, buy truth. Keep our truths black and white. Keep our truths black and white. No nuanced thinking. No nuanced thinking. That sounds fun, right? That's the truth that I learned when I engaged my mantra King Krishna Sarmapagu. Truth is truth. It's no mantra. Well, what's the purpose of a mantra anyway? Let me stop joking about mantras. Give me a little bit of information about mantras. I don't know any mantra things. There's a Swami who told an anti-Christian devotee her mantra was to be Jesus Christ. Mantras lead to truth? How many mantras away is the truth that I'm seeking? 6 mantras? 1,200 mantras? I don't want to go that far. Just to find the truth I'm seeking? Come on. You can't utter a mantra with no strength of intention to it. Oh, I see. So it's manifesting, basically. Well, I don't know. That sort of thing sounds to me like um, trying to wish a road into existence when you've got plenty of asphalt to use. The song introduction is funny. You must be talking about Type Police theme song. I'm guessing. Did you like those ancient grains, little bird? I'll give you some more ancient grains. Ancient grains. You see, I've got this. Oh, those aren't ancient grains. Those are cheeses. Let's get some cheeses instead. Here you go, little bird. Here you go. Eat up. Eat your cheeses. Yeah, so it's like real magic is done with metaphysical asphalt. It's not done with wishful thinking. Like when I pray to the Almighty God that I pray to, I don't ask for things ever. I try to express, or almost never. I almost always simply express gratitude and ask for forgiveness. You know, I don't understand God as something that one reduces to Santa Claus. You know, um, so I don't know about the link in there, but I believe in doing the narrative work to actually change reality. Like for example, one of my proudest things in life possibly is the adoption of the term intuitard by actual censors to actually attack me with. Without them being aware that I made up the word to make fun of censors attacking intuitives for being kind of Jean-Luc Picardy. Um, that's magic right there. That's magic of my proudest moment. That's as meta as you can get. That's just like fucking Mike, drop the mic. Game over. Thanks, Sky Gear. Now that's NI. You see, it's like I really love the NI of it. I'm an NI fetishist. I really like NI. I like shit that pops, you know? I like it too. And it's appropriate. A lot of times I feel like one, you know? It's not just bullshit. It's not just like I mean that's what makes it magic, you know? Makes me very happy. That's SI that I can just soak in, you know? It's like it's my ego spank. Do you believe in magic in a young girl's heart? Is that what it says in the song? Do you like the ISFJ personality type, or are they too feely for you? No, I like ISFJs. My oldest friend in the world, the person uh, I've been, who I've been friends with for the longest, Dave Porter. He's an ISFJ, and we connect well. You know, my other oldest friend, or at least my other best friend, is an INFJ. Although we've been on the outs for a few years now. Kate Moranger. Well, it's whether or not you can quote unquote objectively type yourself really depends on what type you are. So it's not very, it's hard for me to give you any useful information about that. The first step to reaching enlightenment is to realize that you have not yet reached enlightenment. I think, actually, it might be the first step to reaching enlightenment is to realize you've already passed enlightenment and you need to go back. Because you weren't paying attention and you missed the exit. You know, that's normal. If it gives you salmonella, it wasn't time magic, okay? Let me be clear about that. Anything that gives you salmonella is not time magic. What types have a hard time typing themselves? I would say the types that have the least difficult time typing themselves are INTPs, but they don't trust themselves. So they'll know they're INTPs, but not really trust themselves. INTJs are usually pretty good at typing themselves. But here's the problem with this. The types that are bad at typing themselves, generally FI users are going to be worse at typing themselves, especially if it's tool function, because they're going to be accustomed to deliberating on questions that require conclusions using how they feel about it rather than meow. Yes, exactly. Skygear has it nailed it down perfectly. INTPs know they're INTPs, but they just don't trust it because they put too much faith in their counter bias inclinations. Well, but of course, I want to make sure I'm not biased. Wouldn't that be better, though? Think about it. Oh, you've been told you're an ISFJ, Levi Samuels, but how do I know if I really am or not? Well, ISFJs are people who have a very clear understanding of all of their physical resources. Like, how clear of an understanding do you have of all your stuff? Where it is, what it's for, and so forth. Do you anticipate and get stuff in advance? Like, ooh, I'm going to be running out of ice cream soon. And you check it, you go to the store and you make sure you get more before you run out of the last ice cream. It's like if you're gonna play Jeff Foxworthy, if you know you're running out of ice cream soon, and you go to the store and you get more ice cream before you run out, you just might be an SI dom. Okay. If you're in a situation and you need that one container that you saw a year ago, but you lost a lid for it because now you found the lid and you know where the container is that you had the lost lid for that now you found, you just might be an SI dom. If you have a container that has no lid and you're waiting to find the lid for it so you can put them back together again, you just might be an SI dom. You know, you have FE for sure. You can definitely feel how other people are feeling. You mean, by FE, do you mean, when you say other people are feeling, do you mean you can tell how other people are perceiving you, or whether they're uncomfortable or comfortable, or whether something's awkward or graceful? That's really a better way of talking about FE. If you can tell like whether somebody's socially awkward or not, socially graceful or socially awkward, then that's extroverted feeling in an ISFJ. If you cringe when people are awkward, that's a good indication that you're FE 2 or 3. Hi, Curious Kyra. Let me guess. You're feeling curious today. Did I get your emotion right? Is curious an emotion? Have we go over this before? I think I've asked this question before. Is curious an emotion? Am I feeling an emotion right now when I'm curious about this? Yeah, I hate that too, Levi. One thing that means for me is I can't listen to live call-in shows because I'm too nervous that the person who's calling in is going to be awkward, and I can't anticipate in advance whether they're going to be or not. So it's like when I used to be sports. Remember when there used to be sports? Well, after the baseball games, sometimes if I were driving or something, I'd listen to the radio. At the end of the baseball game, I'd listen to the post game like recap thing. But as soon as it started to be the call-in show part of it, I'd turn it off because I just couldn't. I couldn't stand the prospect of enduring the awkwardness. But is it an emotion, Curious Kyra? That's what I'm asking you. Is curiosity an emotion? Curiosity is indeed an emotion, says emailed Anthrax. Is he right? Or she? I don't know. He. You don't know if it's an emotion. Hey, Curious Kyra. How many emotions are there? This is a good question to ask. This is a good FI polar question. How many emotions are there, Curious Kyra? Could a male ENFP 7 wing 8 in 40s work with a female INFP 5 wing 4 in 30s? I think it's a pretty good relationship. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, I think ENTP, INTP could work. Same basic thing. It's among the top 3 or 4 possible choices. Rather than running away, curiosity drives one toward the object of fear. Huh. But it's just because thank you for telling me, Levi Samuels. You do have good FE. That makes me feel good. If you're constantly paying attention to others' actions, you're an FE user, probably, Kate Maranger. You need to sacrifice your NE for SI to get to another role. Try to smoke left just for the sake of novelty. It doesn't really do anything to me. I mean, that's the reality of it. Cotilia Pillar. So, I mean, it's basically like cigarettes. People want to believe that marijuana has some sort of substantial impact, but when they want to believe that, they're ignoring the evidence right in front of their face. It's like people can watch me smoke pot more or less. People, sometimes people see me get high if I smoke a whole shit ton. Like I did this flight the other day I think it was for 420. I pulled like, I don't know, like 20 bong rips in 20 minutes or something like that. And people were like, hey, Eric's actually high. So the thing is, you have plenty of data in front of you to actually tell how marijuana impacts me. But everybody who has these strong opinions about it just ignores that data entirely. Jealousy, anger, excitement, happy, content, sad. So, yeah. 5. It's a good answer, Kyra. It's a good answer. Correct answer is 6. Oh no, you did put fear. I didn't see it. Yeah, 6 is the correct answer. TE bitch slap. Who's TE bitch slapping who? Did I get TE bitch slapped? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know about FI either. Man, FI is a tough one to test. Basically, I ask questions like, what was a better day for you this week? Was it Wednesday or Thursday? A few days back. If they have any kind of distinction about that and can be clear as to why they felt better on one day than the other, that's an indication of SIFI. I'm not sure if it's just FI. I think it's SIFI, but that's one that you'll get answers from. You'll get meaningful answers to that question from ISFPs. Like they know the answer to that question. What was a better day this week? Curious, Kyra. Wednesday or Thursday, and why? Oh, well, Wednesday was a little sad, and Thursday I was feeling a little bit better because ISFPs can give you that kind of answer. Me, that question is, what was the better day, Wednesday or Thursday? I fucking know. What do you mean, Wednesday or Thursday? Who knows what I did Wednesday and Thursday? I don't remember Wednesday and Thursday to distinguish between them meaningfully. They're just a couple of COVID days. It depends on if you had cheesecake. Yeah, well, if you did have cheesecake on one of those days, that's a different matter. Then it's not a good question. This is not a fair question because obviously everybody's going to pick the cheesecake day. Well, I mean, anybody can conclude whatever they want. I mean, if you cherry pick evidence to make a specific case, you can make that case. The question is that case strong in the face of the totality of evidence? And if it's utterly weak and reductive, then you just dismiss it. The thing is, like to take that approach, IAG last, and to say some professionals believe smoking weed hinders emotional development. If they watch your anger upwards, they conclude you're right. They conclude they're right. Well, I mean, the thing is, there's a number of problems with that. It would only be reasonable for them to conclude I was right if, in fact, they were to say that the totality of my anger bursts are greater than equivalently angry people who don't smoke weed, right? So you'd have to have some sort of control to measure that against, first of all. Second of all, you'd have to ignore the question of whether or not my anger was justified. Sometimes anger is an appropriate and justifiable response to injustice. Now, sometimes my anger is appropriate and sometimes it's not. And I'm a human being, so I'm not perfect. I'm getting better also. You have to ignore the change over time. If, in fact, I was being hindered in any kind of development, then I wouldn't be improving over time. But I am improving over time in all sorts of manners, including my tendency towards anger is reducing, you know? It happens a lot less frequently. So if in fact it hindered development, why would I be developing so much more quickly than most people do? The only argument you can make then is, well, but if you weren't smoking weed, you'd be developing even more quickly. But that's just completely arbitrary speculation. They can't be established one way or the other. I might be the opposite. It could just as easily be that I would be less able to develop without weed. So it's like when you just a little bit of TI, we can dismiss those kind of arguments instantly. Well, sure. People who aren't interested in drawing conclusions because of what's most correct or defensible, but instead are interested in supporting conclusions they already have, well, those people are determined to be wrong, basically, and there's nothing you can do about that. I don't worry about people who insist on affirming the indefensible. I worry about whether or not what I'm affirming is defensible. What's the difference in pride and arrogance, really? Well, I mean, there are some good manifestations of pride. I'm pretty proud of my daughter. I don't think it's an unhealthy kind of pride. I think it's a genuine, warm feeling inside that that I did a good job as a parent. That she's a good person, and it makes me emotional and stuff. It's an FI thing, and it's totally legitimate. On the other hand, she's an ESTP, which was karmically appropriate after I used to think she was an ENTP, but that was when I didn't know better. You think disgust is a valid emotion? Well, look, all emotions are valid, but they aren't all justified. And that's how you know whether or not the problem is you or somebody else. It is the case. Look, there's all these aphorisms that are wrong because they make absolute statements where it needs to be qualified, such as other people don't make you feel things. You're responsible for your own emotions. Bullshit. Some of the time, you're responsible for your emotion because it stems from your own insecurities or issues or whatever. Some of the time, another person is responsible for your emotion because they've done something wrong. You know? What made me realize she was a censor? Talking to Becky. Becky's an ENTP, and my daughter is clearly an ESTP, not an ENTP. ESTPs are cool. They're fun. My daughter's fun. My daughter and Rachel go like, Waldo, you are correct. There are 7 emotions now. 7 emotions. You've added an emotion. I think that the number of emotions always matches the number of wonders in the world. So we need an 8th one, probably. It could be surprise. Did we say surprise? Let's toss in surprise. That's our 8th one. Now we have 8 emotions, everybody. You can use all 8 emotions whenever you want to do whatever you do with them. Nobody knows. You were thinking there were like 20 emotions? No, there can't be that many emotions. I think FI people would say this is a category error. You cannot count emotions. I don't know any real life ESFPs that I spend any time with anyway. Oh, the little bird is back. Yes, I did just put you some Cheez-Its. I did. Oh, little bird. I'll show you the little bird. Oh no. He's going to fly away. He flew away. Never mind. Right. If Cloud were here, he'd say you can't define emotion. And however, Waldo is also correct. You can count emoticons. You may not be able to count emotions, but you can count emoticons. You can also count emojis and emo kids. Where is Cloud? Says Can Christopher Pagoo. Well, maybe you need to use his name as a mantra and call him forth. I have a friend who's an ESFP and he makes life fun. There are 27 emotions, says Salem Black. 27? There can't possibly be 27 emotions. There cannot possibly be that many emotions. I don't think it's necessarily the case, Kate Moranger, that SE users stay on topic. I do think that NI users stay on topic, and if you're an SE user, you're also an NI user. So even if you're a 4th slot NI user, you may be more prone to staying on topic than an ENTP, for example. As far as I'm concerned, I'm staying on topic by talking about whatever people who are in the chat are talking about. That's the topic. So, in that regard, I'm feeling exceedingly topical. The other thing is, we could talk a little bit about topicality. Well, I'd give you a link to a document that has some TI stuff in it. Do you really want some TI? Do you really want some TI? I will find some TI for you. I will find some TI in my Google Drive. What's it called? DRP. All right. This is an example. Here's a TI worksheet. Copy link. The link has been copied. Done. Share the link. Share it with everybody. There. That's shared. Let's get another one. How about test on syllogisms? That sounds fun. I love tests on syllogisms. Here. Copy link. Share the link. Here you go. Test on syllogisms. Okay, sir. I'll get you, David. Let me hold on. What about the second one? The second one okay? What about that one? How about this one? Oh, I see. Anyone got it. I got it. Now I got it. Done. My bad. My bad. I messed up. I didn't change the thing that I was supposed to change. Oh, shame on me. Done. What about this one? Done. Okay, there's 2 documents now. I don't know who that person was there who talks like that. Not a particular character I don't think I've done before. I'm not sure who that person is. So there are a couple of TI tests. I used to teach critical thinking and logic. So I do have some tests that I made up with some deductive reasoning problems and stuff on them. Is it a TI DOM thing? Yeah. Right. You want to not just know the answer, but explain why. God damn it. Yeah. Also, coach debate. Like tomorrow, I got to coach my debate student about shells. The last tournament he got beat because his opponent ran a non-topical AF, which means it didn't meet the criteria of topicality, really. I'm a little worried about Rachel sleeping in too much because checkout time might be like 10 o'clock. Right now it's 8:45. She's probably not awake yet. But hopefully she can get anyway, the thing is, so if you're going to successfully argue that, oh, you were debate team president for 2, you did LD. I'm coaching my kid in LD. This is okay. So you'll understand what happened here. First of all, we're in Los Angeles. I had my middle school kid, my 8th grader, competing in high school novice at the Marlboro School for Girls. One of the more challenging school names to say. Marlboro School for Girls. At their tournament, and entered into that tournament were a grip of Harvard Westlake novices. If you're familiar at all with Southern California debate, Marlboro and Harvard Westlake are the beasts. Okay, so in LD, not necessarily in policy, but marbles in the mouth is a better way of saying Marlboro School for Girls. Anyway, my kid ran into on this most recent topic was a nuclear weapons topic. It said states ought to eliminate their nuclear arsenals, and the AF ran a counter plan as its AF, basically ran the Harvard Westlake neg counter plan as the AF, just ignoring the issue of topicality entirely, basically. So in other words, to be topical, the AF needed to have it be the case that states ought to eliminate the nuclear arsenals. He ran a case that said some states ought to get rid of 1 or 2 kinds of nuclear weapons and pretended that was affirming the resolution. My kid said correctly, that's not topical at all, but I hadn't been pressed into needing to teach him about topicality shells. So he didn't run a proper T shell, and he had 3 policy judges, and he lost the round. So that's what I got to start working with him on tomorrow is shells. It's summer. I almost want to prep out the policy topic because obviously we don't have the LD topic yet. Makes sense why you and I are you an ENTP? I mean, look, my strategy on neg was to seize all the AF ground, which is to say, my strategy on AF was to seize all the neg ground by saying, I'm not affirming that this is actually going to happen. I'm saying that in the status quo is not the case. Yeah, you got to be an ENTP. I'm saying in the status quo is not the case that states ought to eliminate the nuclear arsenals. That in the AF world, it will be the case that they ought to eliminate the nuclear arsenals because we're passing an international law making nuclear weapons illegal. Do not think this means nuclear weapons will disappear. It'll be the equivalent of the chemical weapons and bioweapons ban, which he's not an ENTP at all. Anyway, everybody was running it for a long time on that topic. That topic was the TOC topic, and anyway, I'm not going to get too deep into that conversation with you. But that makes sense, Baldo. Now I understand why you're always... You're like, God damn it, I can't type fast enough. Like, I'll spread you out, motherfucker. I don't care if you are at a disadvantage. I like you a lot more all of a sudden, Waldo. My school allowed each debate team to bring a weapon unless they couldn't come up with a solid argument. Yeah, Waldo and I should team up. You know what I love? I love all the debate sex innuendo stuff. Like, why don't you spread your K and I'll extend my half? Things like that. I love that shit. Anyway, I gotta go because I got this barbecue I'm hosting today. I gotta make sure Rachel's out of that hotel before checkout, unless she's gonna stay another night. But she might stay another night there. It's like it's such a good solution to just take it a couple days apart. Have her go to a hotel for a couple of nights. It's not a bad idea at all, and it gives her some space. And with hotels super cheap right now, it's not out of the question financially. I will. You never went to Nats or TOC? Finals in North Carolina is fucking tits. There ain't no shame in that. I have, as a coach, a state champion, only one, California state champion in public forum, middle school, and it's not easy. It is not easy to get. I've got one in my whole career, so kudos to you. Anyway, I gotta go because yeah, human empire, the choice to use words as a weapon is they can't fight well. I got a lot of stuff to do, and miggity meow. This has been a fun live stream. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Don't forget to like it if you enjoyed it.